Welcome to our channel. Today we venture into the heart of an empire, a realm of emperors and legions, of conquest and ambition. This is the story of a man who rose from humble beginnings to become the master of Europe, only to see his empire crumble around him. Stay tuned as we unravel the captivating tale of Napoleon Bonaparte, a figure shrouded in legend and controversy. Born on the rugged island of Corsica, a land steeped in tradition and defiance, young Napoleon Bonaparte could scarcely have imagined the destiny that lay before him. Corsica, with its dramatic landscapes of jagged mountains and pristine coastlines, was a place where the spirit of independence ran deep. The island had only recently fallen under French rule, and the embers of rebellion still smouldered in the hearts of its people. In this environment of change and resistance, young Napoleon's character was forged. He was a boy of immense ambition and fierce intelligence, qualities that set him apart from his peers. He devoured books on history and military strategy, his mind alight with dreams of glory and conquest. The stories of great leaders and epic battles captivated him, fueling his desire to carve out his own place in history. Corsica's recent annexation by France was a source of tension and unrest. The island's people were proud and fiercely independent, and many resented the new French rulers. This atmosphere of defiance and resistance was the backdrop to Napoleon's early years, shaping his worldview and instilling in him a deep sense of purpose. It was in this crucible of change that Napoleon's character was forged. His early experiences in Corsica, combined with his voracious reading and keen intellect, prepared him for the challenges that lay ahead. He was determined to rise above his humble beginnings and make a name for himself on the world stage. Ambitious and fiercely intelligent, he devoured books on history and military strategy, his mind alight with dreams of glory. He studied the great military leaders of the past, learning from their successes and failures. His education was not just academic, it was a preparation for the life he envisioned for himself, a life of power and influence. The French Revolution, a seismic upheaval that would shake the very foundations of Europe, provided the perfect stage for his meteoric rise. The revolution was a time of chaos and opportunity, a time when the old order was being dismantled and a new one was being forged. For Napoleon, it was a chance to prove himself and to rise through the ranks of a France riven by revolution. Rising through the ranks of a France riven by revolution, Napoleon's military genius shone on battlefields across Europe. His victories were swift, decisive, and audacious, each one a testament to his strategic brilliance and his uncanny ability to inspire his men. He was a leader who led from the front, sharing in the hardships and dangers of his troops, earning their loyalty and respect. His victories were swift, decisive, and audacious, each one a testament to his strategic brilliance and his uncanny ability to inspire his men. He was a master of strategy and tactics, able to outmaneuver and outthink his opponents. His men followed him with unwavering loyalty, inspired by his courage and his vision. From the plains of Italy to the sands of Egypt, his name became synonymous with victory, striking fear into the hearts of his enemies and admiration in the hearts of the French people. His campaigns were marked by boldness and innovation, and his successes on the battlefield made him a hero in the eyes of the French people. Napoleon's star ascended with each passing campaign, his charisma and military prowess capturing the imagination of a nation yearning for stability after years of turmoil. He was not just a military leader, he was a symbol of hope and renewal for a country that had been torn apart by revolution. His rise to power was meteoric, and his impact on history would be profound and lasting. By the turn of the century, Napoleon's grip on power was absolute. His rise from a military general to the ruler of France was nothing short of extraordinary. He had crowned himself Emperor of the French, a bold declaration that signaled his ambition to reshape the very fabric of Europe. This act was not just a display of power, but a statement of his vision for a new world order. Under his iron rule, France underwent a period of unprecedented transformation. The aftermath of the French Revolution had left the nation in turmoil, but Napoleon's leadership brought stability and progress. Napoleon, a man of action and vision, implemented sweeping reforms that touched every aspect of French life. His administrative genius was evident in the way he reorganized the government and society. He centralized the government, reformed the legal system, and established the Bank of France. laying the groundwork for a modern, unified state. These reforms not only strengthened France but also set a precedent for future governance. Yet Napoleon's ambition knew no bounds. His military prowess and strategic brilliance were matched only by his desire to expand his empire. He envisioned a Europe united under his banner, a continent where French power reigned supreme. His vision was grand and his methods were relentless. His conquests had already redrawn the map of Europe, but his insatiable appetite for power would ultimately prove to be his undoing. Each victory brought him closer to his goal, but also closer to his downfall. The other great powers of Europe, wary of Napoleon's growing might and his revolutionary ideals, formed a series of coalitions to oppose him. These alliances were determined to curb his influence and restore the balance of power. The Napoleonic Wars, a series of titanic clashes that would engulf the continent for over a decade, had begun. These wars were not just battles of armies, but of ideologies, with the fate of Europe hanging in the balance. The impact of these wars was felt far beyond the battlefield. Cities were ravaged, economies strained, and countless lives were lost. Yet, amidst the chaos, the resilience of the people shone through as they rebuilt and adapted to the changing times. Ultimately, Napoleon's relentless pursuit of power led to his downfall. Exiled and defeated, his legacy remains a complex tapestry of triumph and tragedy. His influence on history is undeniable, a testament to the indomitable spirit of one of history's most enigmatic figures. Today, the echoes of Napoleon's reign can still be felt in modern France. His reforms laid the foundation for the nation's current structure, and his story continues to captivate and inspire. Chapter 3. The Gathering Storm. For years, Napoleon seemed invincible, his armies marching from victory to victory. He crushed his enemies at Austerlitz, Jena, and Friedland, his military genius seemingly unmatched. But the tide was beginning to turn. The constant warfare had taken its toll on France, draining its resources and manpower. Napoleon's enemies, emboldened by his setbacks in Spain and Portugal, sensed an opportunity to break his hold on Europe. In 1813, the Sixth Coalition was formed, a formidable alliance that included Great Britain, Russia, Prussia, Austria, and Sweden. Napoleon, facing the combined might of Europe's great powers, found himself increasingly isolated. The stakes had never been higher. The fate of Europe, and indeed Napoleon's own destiny, hung in the balance. Chapter 4. A Russian Winter's Bite. In 1812, Napoleon embarked on his most ambitious campaign yet, the invasion of Russia. This campaign was not just a military endeavor, but a test of endurance, strategy, and the willpower of his Grande Armée. Leading an army of over 600,000 men, he crossed the Niemen River, venturing deep into the vast expanse of Russia. The initial stages of the invasion saw rapid advances, with the French forces pushing forward with confidence. The Russians, however, refused to engage in a decisive battle. Instead, they adopted a scorched earth policy, retreating eastward and burning everything in their wake. This strategy left the French with little to no resources to sustain their massive army. Napoleon's Grande Armée, accustomed to living off the land, found itself facing starvation and disease. The lack of food and clean water began to take a toll on the soldiers, weakening their resolve and physical strength. As the Russian winter set in, its icy grip tightened around the invading army. The temperatures dropped to unbearable levels, and the soldiers, ill-prepared for such harsh conditions, struggled to survive. Temperatures plummeted, supplies dwindled, and Napoleon's once mighty force was reduced to a shadow of its former self. The men, dressed in tattered uniforms, faced frostbite and hypothermia, with many succumbing to the relentless cold. The retreat from Moscow was a nightmare. The once orderly ranks of the Grande Armée disintegrated into chaos as they struggled to find their way back through the snow-covered landscape. Hounded by Cossacks and ravaged by the elements, thousands of Napoleon's soldiers perished in the frozen wasteland. The relentless attacks from the Cossacks added to the misery, as the French soldiers were constantly on the defensive. The invasion of Russia, once envisioned as a triumphal march, had become a humiliating debacle. The Grande Armée, which had set out with such high hopes, was now a broken and demoralized force, forever scarred by the Russian winter's bite. Chapter 5. The walls close in. Weakened and demoralized after the disaster in Russia, Napoleon faced a resurgent Sixth Coalition. His enemies, sensing blood in the water, advanced on France from all sides. Despite a series of desperate rearguard actions, Napoleon could not stem the tide. His empire, built on conquest and maintained by force, began to crumble around him. In March 1814, Paris, the heart of Napoleon's empire, fell to the Allied forces. The emperor, abandoned by many of his former allies and facing the prospect of capture, abdicated on April 6, 1814. Napoleon's reign, a whirlwind of conquest, reform, and ultimately defeat, had come to an end. He was exiled to the island of Elba, his dreams of European domination lying in ruins. Outro, the legacy of an emperor. Napoleon's story is a cautionary tale of ambition, hubris, and the fleeting nature of power. He was a man of contradictions, a brilliant military strategist and a ruthless dictator, a reformer who modernized France and a conqueror who plunged Europe into years of war. His legacy remains a subject of debate to this day. Was he a hero or a tyrant, a visionary or a despot? Whatever your perspective, there's no denying the profound impact Napoleon Bonaparte had on the course of history. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more captivating historical tales. See you next time.